Hey everybody, I'm Wyatt. I'm joined by Vernon, Alex, and Evan, and this is Cinema Trip Reviews Halloween Kills. It is finally here. The day has come. Halloween Kills is out. We're getting right into spoilers because it's hard to talk about this movie without spoilers, man.
Yeah, it is.
Beginning of it, I would have kind of switched around. I mean, it starts off with, Cameron discovering Hawkins' body. I think I would have put that after the flashback, or after, I would have used the flashback to 78, cut the credits, and then use the Cameron and Hawkins thing. But I mean, he finds Hawkins, I can't believe he's still alive. Got stabbed in the neck, right? And ran over with a car in the last one.
And left there.
They said it in the last movie. He says it in this one. He has to die. It has to die. And then it cuts to one of the best parts of the movie, man, is the flashbacks to 78, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, those are cool.
That's literally what I wrote down here. I wrote beginning equals awesome. That sequence is what I really thought about the most. Is that whole sequence was awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean the way they filmed it, where it looks grainy, it's from the actual 78 version. The way that Michael looks, it looks exactly like the movie.
Yeah,
and the way he moves.
Yeah, I like the fresh mask on. The fresh mask. Yeah, it looks cool. I do have a bad note. I just want to hit real quick. The kids in this 78 scene.
Oh, they're terrible.
Terrible acting, dude. All of them. I was like, holy shit, this is bad.
The one part I actually it gives me chills every time I watch it. Even though it's kind of weird, and I don't know if I would have put it in, but it works for me. Is whenever Lonnie's running away, and then he trips and he falls, and then you see Michael behind him, disappears, and then the cops find him, and then as they're asking, he's like, "You haven't seen him?" And then he looks directly at the camera and he says, "The boogeyman," and it's just cut, there's no music, and I was like, I loved it. I was like, ooh.
Oh, I'm the complete opposite. I hated that. I was like,
really?
Oh, that was a terrible delivery. It was complete opposite for me.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was just cheesy enough, but that's what they referred to him as, the boogeyman.
Oh, for sure. And even in the original trailers, it's the man or the shape or whatever. I get it, but I hated that.
Since we're talking about Lonnie, Lonnie is definitely new to the story, right?
No, he's in the original.
Was he?
Yeah, they mentioned Lonnie in the first one.
Yeah, but he's not as a big of a part though.
I don't remember him.
They actually make the kid look like one of the kids in the original movie. It's one of the kids that's bullying Tommy Doyle in the first. That's why whenever he introduces Tommy, he's like, "Here's the kid I used to bust his balls and all this." That's because they show him in the original one.
Okay,
which I did
so
like that.
That was Lonnie. Okay, I know exactly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I love how they use the actual classic music too. They didn't use the revamped music whenever they showed the flashback.
The 78, yeah.
Yeah.
I have that note in here too, that I liked that they used that type of music in that.
Yeah, and that leads us to the big missing factor from the last one, the Myers house. And that's a huge focal point of this movie, is the Myers house. And
pretty much the main focal point. I mean, Michael's mission in this movie is to get home. And they kind of make that point where Michael's whole point of this movie is to get home and look out this window.
Yeah.
And we're not really quite sure what that all means.
Who knows at this point?
But hopefully they kind of elaborate on that. I know they kind of tried to with the whole Haddonfield is a place where nothing happens, but I'd like to see if there is some more significance to that.
The reason that they're going back to 78 really is of course for some exposition, talking about the guy, his buddy, his cop partner, talking about his mom used to make him go and play with Michael at the Myers house whenever he was younger, but all he would do is stand in front of his sister's window looking out. And of course, in the 2018, Hawkins talks about he was there whenever they captured Michael, and that he could have stopped it, and that's another reason they went back to it.
Before we go too far, I do want to say one of my good notes is that the shot where he walks into the bedroom of the sisters and two footprints are just standing there, and then it does the classic he comes out. One of my favorite shots of the whole, one of my favorite scene by scene moves of the whole movie. I knew it was gonna happen, but still at the same time I was like, ooh,
I wasn't expecting like them to look down and see the footprints, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's really cool."
I like that he saw the footprints on the floor right after talking to it. It's one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I mean they really went all out to make it look like the exact inside of the house and outside from the original, because they even show like in the sister's room where he's at, they have like that, like where the trim of the house fell down and busted the window in the original, where like there was a jump scare in the first one with Dr. Loomis, and then they found the dog, which in the original like they find the dog in there, and he like
even that was a weird scene. He's like, "There's a dead dog." Never mind.
What?
He's like, "Oh, it's nothing."
No,
I was like, "What do you mean it's nothing? You found a dead dog? Like that's suspicious."
But yeah,
a little suspicious.
That goes to the scene like you're saying where he stands in front of the window and Michael attacks him, starts choking him. And then Hawkins, he's a rookie, doesn't know what to do. So he tries to shoot Michael, but he ends up killing his own partner.
Man,
I feel like he had no choice.
Did Michael's job for him, because immediately Michael just like, okay.
Michael, he's just kind of like, okay.
What you did? Michael was pretty like tucked behind him. It wasn't like he was like holding him to the side. He was pretty like, go ahead and shoot. I thought that scene was pretty believable. He was just like, all right. I thought it was pretty believable. Like, I'd probably shoot you too, man. Like, if you were held by Michael.
I mean, you're going to try to make the shot because you don't want to try to get him before he kills your partner. That leads to them showing Dr. Loomis. And a lot of people are saying this is CGI. It is not CGI. This is actually a dude that actually was working on the production set of the last one and this one that happens to look exactly like Donald Pleasance. And they, of course, they put some prosthetics that helped it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was actually a dude that looks like Dr. Loomis, and
I think they look like Dr. Loomis
just enough. Like they didn't keep the camera on him too much, where they're like, "Oh, that looks weird."
You got to bring a dead person back to life. I'll give you a little leeway,
Like, I like that better than doing like the CG, like how they did like Tarkin
like Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars, and
where it would have been like obviously fake.
Or even Avengers, like when they de-age in Avengers, like you could tell.
Anyways, I did like having Loomis show up. Yeah, just because
like
he's so
where is
iconic to the
Has
series.
He killed again?
And he's so it's so dramatic.
Then you get that. I thought it was a cool shot of them like zooming out, and it just shows Michael standing there with the cops surrounding him and shit.
I love that scene because Michael Myers didn't give up. And that's one of my favorite things about like this new series is just him standing there in these tense situations, not giving a fuck.
Because they want to
the tone of it, like
he's numb. And I think the best part of it is like he's not superhuman. He's not like he's just numb. Like he just doesn't feel anything at this point. You know,
they want to make you think he is the boogeyman. Like
he's numb, dude. He's just
no
doing
emotion.
Evil. I like that.
Pure evil. That takes us into the open credits. And then flash forward to today, go to the bar, and we meet the survivors from 1978. Tommy Doyle, Nurse Meredith, I think that's her name, I forget. But the nurse from the original one. Yeah. And then you have Lindsay as well from the original. And Lindsay was actually the original actor from the first Halloween, Kyle Richards.
Cool.
So they brought her back. Apparently they were supposed to bring Paul Rudd back for this to play Tommy Doyle. But he was filming Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters at the time. Do it. And
come on.
I don't know if it would have worked. I can't see.
He looks the same.
I can't see Paul Rudd just the way that
everybody else looked a lot older.
But just the way he's like taking control and just like leading the mob. I can't see Paul Rudd doing that.
Paul Rudd kind of
kind of
evil dies tonight.
Paul Rudd would be the guy in the hospital. Be like, I don't think that's him.
I didn't know that they were going to bring all the old like people back into this story, and that excited me. I didn't know if it was in a trailer and you guys saw it, but like that excited me. I was like, oh, okay, like that's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen to these new people, like the people that were in it before, but they're new people now.
Yeah,
they're survivors.
And that's exactly what he was talking about when they brought Tommy up on stage. He tells the story and says like, this is for the survivors and all the people that died 40 years ago. And that was a great introduction for it and everything. Cause he said like, no matter what, like the boogeyman's covered. He's like, I don't know. He's like, he's going to come for me. He's going to come for you. He's like, I don't know what.
Next Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I like that little speech. The acting in this movie was pretty good for the most part. There's some questionable dialogue, of course, throughout the whole thing. But I thought it was a pretty good introduction. He's with Lonnie and everything, and you get to meet a couple minor characters, which, you know, they don't move on eventually. The nurse and the doctor. that are at the bar. I mean, that's when like Lonnie gets the call from his son saying like he found Hawkins and everything. He has to get picked up. And he's saying Lonnie's in trouble. And then they actually show on the news. I don't know if you saw it, but I noticed the dude that they see in the middle of the movie, you know, the weird mental patient. But they actually show Michael Myers' mugshot after that, but it's super blurred out, so you can't see who it is. And I mean, they don't show the names of who they are, so that's why nobody knows who they are, like who they're looking
Michael
for.
Myers.
Yeah,
they just noticed that face.
Yeah, and I mean and then it kind of cuts from there to what's going on with Jamie Lee Curtis, with Laurie Strode, and then her family at that part, and they're on the back of that truck leaving from the bleeding out, telling the fire crews to don't save them, don't like, put it out, let them burn,
let it burn,
let them burn,
let it burn.
And as I wish they wouldn't have put this in the trailers, but I understand it because it was a main point of the marketing was this whole pretty much the whole scene of Michael breaking out.
Oh my god, that was there were two parts to this movie, and I told Wyatt the second one already, and we'll get to that. But I'm like, he comes out with all those firefighters. They start to like square up, and I'm like, I don't remember the trailer. I don't remember watching it. So like, I'm watching this. I'm like, he's gonna kill all these people.
Every single one of them.
And he just not.
I like the introduction though, like where they were walking through the house, and then he falls through the floor. And as he's trying to get up and call for buddies, you just see like the gun locker from the first one open up, and he's just standing there.
He's just chilling in the fire.
He just goes to town with that that axe that he has, man. But yeah, he just straight slaughters everybody with the axe, with that like the saw for cutting open cars and shit.
Oh yeah, he turns it around on the dude.
One problem I had with this part though, like the fire hose when it was blasted him. That shit looked like a garden hose blasted him. I was like, come on now. It was just like
right. And he didn't like back up at all. He stood his ground with that fire
straight
hose, like
stab in the face.
And then he just right in his fucking like you couldn't like dot like come on, like
it's like Michael's just like okay.
Stop. Like
it's like thanks, I was just in a fire. Okay.
I was just in a fire. Thanks for pulling me down, making sure I'm not on fire anymore.
That guy helped him.
Jab.
They only showed like 5 of those are kills or 6 of those kills because whenever like the sheriff's department shows up, they're like, "There's 15 bodies here."
Oh, damn!
Like, what damn?
that was definitely that set the tone for Michael right away.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like you said, you got to that point, or I think it was Alex said, but like they got to that point. He's like, he's already at the body count for the last movie almost.
Pretty much.
Right.
Just in the first
30 minutes in.
From that point, I mean, it just shows like Laurie Strode going to the hospital. Their families deal with everything. Allison's dad died in the last movie. They're dealing with that with her mom and everything. Laurie went under surgery, and it was weird that they like even mentioned they're like, oh, she should only have to deal with like some inner pain and inner swelling like after this, and like making it seem like she would like giving her excuse to like go out if she had to, like
right.
So yeah, like the sheriff is there and everything, and they break the news that like Michael's not dead, and they were kind of getting their stories from Allison and Karen as well, because Allison has a different point of view. She saw the doctor in the last one was the one that like tried to kill Hawkins, put Michael in and took him to Laurie, whereas Karen thinks that Michael's just out to get Laurie straight up, like he's the one stalking and hunting her down, when you really that's really not the case. He's just out there murdering whoever. He's not actually after Laurie at all.
You don't even know who you are, probably.
Yeah, exactly. I just keep thinking of Thanos, like, I don't even know who you are.
It's kind of funny though, because like as someone who's watched the Halloween franchise, like that's kind of what we've come to believe. Like that's what we've always been told and seen, like he's after that family. And in this movie, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be Michael's only words in the next one. Is like whenever Laurie confronts him, she's like, "You killed my family," and all this. He's like, "I don't even know who you are." Who are you? Stab. Karen lies to Laurie's face, saying like, "No, he's dead." Like,
which I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean. I guess just didn't want her to freak out because you saw what happened when she finds out.
I will say Karen was a little odd in this movie. I feel like She was at times like, I mean, everything that just happened in the first one up until now, she was very like, I don't know, maybe if it was just shock or maybe she's just not affected that much by it.
You showed her crying, like she was crying in a room by herself. I think she's just trying to process it, and she doesn't want to believe everything that's happening. She's trying to.
I think that's just it.
She's trying to hide it all away. Like she doesn't want to face reality at this point.
You know what I think?
Where Lori is like the total opposite. Like.
Yeah,
like listen, we gotta fight this. And
her main problem was that she was wearing a Christmas sweater the whole fucking movie.
That's because they don't celebrate Halloween. They developed that in the last one. It's because they don't celebrate Halloween in the family.
Thank you for connecting those dots.
We go to Laurie's neighbor's house after Michael broke out. Because you got the old lady flying the drone around the house. Dude comes down, they're talking, and then like she flies it in, it falls, and then he goes to pick it up, and you just see it get tossed out of the room.
That dude's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. He goes and turns the light on.
Big dude in a white mask.
He turns the light on, and Michael's like, turn that light off. He smashes the light. But I think he's in the bathroom cleaning his fucking hand up, and they rudely interrupt him. Rudely interrupt him, and he has to smash this dude's head against the wall and put his neck through the glass.
Very forcefully has to do all this, and then to stab her, and then
that scene where she's just at the door and he's standing there just looking at her. Oh my god!
He just like looks around, just grabs the light, and just like, smashes
what can
it.
I use here?
That might be the best kill in the whole
fluorescent tube just fills up with blood.
Just like the premeditation of it. He's just like, how am I gonna kill this lady? Because I don't got my knife on me.
Yeah,
here, this'll do. And he like you see him go through like the thought process, like, all right, how am I gonna do this? Here we go. And then he just does it.
Just like a couple other parts in this movie, he toys with his victims. He pulls her off to the side so she can watch him fucking. He drags the other dude away and just keeps stabbing him, bro.
Which I hope they explain that. Why did he do that? Like,
okay. So Brittany brought up a good point. Like, was he looking for like a good knife? Because then he takes a knife afterwards. Like he stabs it in his back, and then when like he finds a knife, then he walks out with it.
He's a showman, man. Like that's what he is with a lot of his kills. He sets them up to be found in a certain way. Just like in the last one, he put the sheet over her, like the pumpkin next to her. In the original, he has her like the Annie laying on the bed with the tombstone and everything. He kind of sets the victims up, but that's whenever you cut back to the bar and you find like you get the first kind of like, oh, is Michael actually here type thing with the nurse and the doctor going out to the going out, and that's pretty much most of the movie is rabble.
A lot of rabble.
They go out to the car and there's someone in the back seat, and then they get Tommy, and it's pretty tense. Like the music plays it up a lot here because it's like it goes up a little bit and then it comes down where it's just like a little thumping noise as like they're getting closer to the car with the baseball bat looking in. And Tommy fucked up his dude's car. He hit it with the baseball bat. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that dude's like, my car.
My car.
But I will say
my 1990 BMW.
The movie did a good job here by like, at first I'm watching, I'm like, okay, that's not Michael. Like, obviously it's going to be a misunderstanding. And then like when the headlights turn on, I'm like, that might be Michael. And then, of course, we learn it wasn't.
I was
didn't run
the whole
him
time. The whole time I was
yeah.
like, that's not Michael.
Well, see, like, I thought that at first. I'm like, okay, that's not Michael, obviously.
Michael would have ran him over.
Oh,
then he's like, well, yeah.
At this point,
it just got like, I think they just drew it out just long enough for me to be like, okay, maybe it is Michael. And then when it crashed, and then obviously you learn.
But after that, they go to the hospital. And that's where they really start rabble.
They screw up that hospital.
But they Lonnie and Cameron and Allison, they kind of get together. They get a plan. Like, we're getting groups. We're gonna go around town and we're gonna hunt Michael down. And then it shows like a montage of them going around town, going to different stores. Like, I need a few good men. He's trying to
good men.
Get a bunch of people going around town hunting Michael down. And before we get to the park scene, we do get an introduction to, I like these characters, Big John and Little John.
Yeah, Big John and Little John.
I like Big John and Little John. They live in the old Myers house.
They really pushed this couple, by the way, Big John and Little John, like through pictures and shit. I noticed a lot of it, like through this couple, like they were the couple they focused on a lot, which is, I was like, okay, like these are people.
I think they're funny.
The kids played on them though.
Oh
that
yeah!
was
Oh my god!
Oh my god! that shit got me, man.
I knew it was a prank, but I was like, these kids are going far.
If those kids would have pulled that prank on me, I'd have been fine with it. You got me. Get out of here.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Candy. Asshole kids.
You're assholes.
I know I didn't put razor blades in the candy.
It was that's funny. What I was thinking too. I was like, how? So did they put razor blades in this candy? Is that why they're reacting like, oh no, oh shit, like? And if they did,
it worked.
Why are they reacting that way? I was just like, yo, this is a mind fuck right now. Like they're I love that scene.
And then
that was amazing.
They provided much needed comic relief, and I think it helped with the jarring kills with Michael this movie to this ridiculous him just dancing away and
listen
Big
to
John
music.
They were funny.
Yeah,
they try to scare the kids by telling the story of Michael Myers because these kids obviously they didn't know it, and it was I think it would have been more effective. But they were trying to get some laughs. But he's like, as a boy at 60-year-old, he stabbed his sister in the tits, and I was like, I feel like they could have played it out a little scarier than that.
Right in the tits, boys.
It wasn't wrong.
But I mean, it worked. They scared the kids away, and that's when it leads up to the park scene with those very same kids, except there's one missing at this point.
Oh, why? Did you notice the masks that they were wearing?
Yeah, they're wearing the Halloween 3 masks.
Yeah. They were.
Bernie pointed that out really quick.
And that's
this is.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Wyatt. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this is where Lindsay, Nurse Marion, and the doctor and the nurse roll up. Lindsay goes and checks out because they see the kids at the park. They're like, these kids shouldn't be out here. What are they doing? Yeah. She goes and checks them out. They're saying there's a spooky man in a white mask playing hide and seek with them. And then they look over and Michael's by the car
holding
the other kid's mask, and it's just dripping blood. And I would say this is probably one of the best parts of the movie as well, because what I was saying before, the music in it is amazing the whole time while it's panning out. And I mean, I was wondering what Lindsay was doing at the time because she went and grabbed that
I knew what she
and
was
then she started
doing.
putting bricks in it. But Michael, throw back to the original, climbs up on top of the roof, starts fucking with him.
I thought that couple, the nurse and doctor couple that they introduced, just by the fact that they were focusing on them so much, I thought they were going to last a lot longer.
Oh, no.
So going back to the whole Michael being ruthless, when he got them, I was like, oh man, they just took him out. I thought they were going to last.
While we're on that subject of that couple had one of the best jokes of the movie when she was like, I'm a doctor, he's a nurse.
Yeah.
And they were dressed opposite.
I guessed.
I laughed out loud on that joke.
They were dressed opposite. Yeah, she was a nurse, he was a doctor. And
yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, I mean, that goes to just a series of unfortunate events, where she tries shooting Michael. He gets the hand smashing the window, pulling her hair. And then, she climbs out the window, which you think as soon as she climbed out the window, she would just start shooting him on top of the car. But she doesn't start shooting until, the other two are dead at that point.
Yeah.
Which, it was just a little weird editing at that point.
This is... Go ahead, Wyatt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the whole part, I think that could have been cut out where she was like, this is for Dr. Loomis. And then it just, clicks, and then he just stabs the shit out of her. While he's stabbing Nurse Marion, the dude tries to choke him out with, the stethoscope. And the way that Michael just looks at him while he's doing it, bro. And then it's one of my favorite kills of the movie. He slides the knife up under his eye, and you just see his eye sitting on top of it, dude.
I do agree. That is one of the best kills.
I love that kill, man. And then the chick starts shooting, and then he just looks at her and just kicks that door straight into the gun, bro.
And she shoots herself
right in the face.
Oh yeah, that was funny too.
Right in the face.
And was another moment where Michael's just
I feel like Michael didn't even believe that worked at that point. He was like,
shit.
Wait a minute.
Did someone record that? That was cool.
He's looking at the cameraman you get that?
Yeah.
A Jim look from the office.
Then, Lindsay tries to beat the shit out of him with a bag of bricks.
Which I knew was coming. Yeah. I was like, yo, Lindsay's going to hit him with bricks. Because it panned on him for a little bit of him staring at the dead body. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, yo, Lindsay going to crack this dude.
I mean, the bricks didn't really do much to him. Most things in this movie. Because he just pretty much goes the choker route immediately. Until she tries to pull off his mask.
It's weird that he doesn't kill her. I gotta say that. I mean, I know that's skipping ahead a little bit, but it's weird that he doesn't kill her.
Yeah, I mean, then you get the typical chick running away from the killer, and he's just walking. And then you get a scene straight out of Lord of the Rings, which it looks exactly like Lord of the Rings, where she's sitting there under the tree in the little riverbed, and he's like standing, and it looks just like a Lord of the Rings, where like those weird creatures
are
sitting there, the
mentors or whatever they
are,
and
the hobbits are sitting there like tucked underneath the tree. That's immediately what I thought. I was like, this is stolen from Lord of the Rings.
It's a homage.
Yeah, but I feel like there was a scene cut in there because whenever they come back and they find her, like Tommy Doyle, she's like beaten up and bloody.
Yeah, I remember that. And she's still kind of on the riverbank, but not like under the tree.
She's just like kinda... she can't walk. She was just laying there, and then they have her in a wheelchair in the next scene. Whereas, like, what the hell?
That's
like, what happened?
She didn't.
You were running the whole time.
Yeah, you were fine. You just got choked a little bit.
Yeah, you got choked. What's wrong with your legs? Before they take her to the hospital, there was a cool scene where they're like, we used to dare each other to go into the Myers house all the time, and then Lonnie was the only one that actually did it, and then he said he didn't. He actually didn't do it. Yeah. And that's a callback from the original, whenever that was Lonnie that's in the movie, in the original, wherever they're like,
I'm not afraid. Bull. I'm not. Then go in.
And then Dr. Loomis is like,
hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, I remember that scene.
And then that's whenever you really get a chunk of the movie where some people have problems with and some don't. And that's the mob mentality at the hospital. Where they confuse the other mental patient with Michael. And that's like a 15-20 minute scene of just them screaming evil guys tonight and chaos.
It went on for a while. Like they were chasing, but the entire time,
the whole time too. Like Tommy Doyle, they're like the sheriff that was there. He's like, "No, I'm fucking tired of you guys not doing anything. We're gonna do it now." And I was like, "Yeah, and fuck yeah!" I was part of the mob mentality. I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go out there and get Michael Myers."
But yeah, it was just they turned on that guy real quick, and that was sad. Like,
and even Karen was like, "That's not him. What are you doing? That's not him."
And Tommy didn't realize it until like the last second.
You get the whole scene with them just chasing the dude around the hospital, people falling downstairs, getting pushing.
Those doctors are just pushing people out of the way.
Yeah,
that one doctor pushed 2 people, right?
Yeah, and pushed Karen. She like fell downstairs.
Down the steps.
Yeah, and then Lori tries to go out in the midst of it. She stabs herself with a needle, and then like tries to go out. And she like goes to like kick a dude in the stomach to get him out of the way, and then she hurts herself. And she's like sitting there in the I understand it. I wasn't expecting Lori to really do anything in this, and that was like, it was funny because like after the movie, me and Annette were walking back to the car, and she's like, I wanted her to do more. I wanted her to be involved. I was like, she's like a 70-year-old woman that just got stabbed. I don't think she's going anywhere in this movie.
I'm with Annette. One of my biggest complaints, and I don't even want to bring it up till later. Lori and Michael share no scenes in this movie, and it upset me. That is the relationship quotations that I want to see, and I was upset that it didn't happen. That's what made it feel the most empty to me, is that they didn't share a single scene together.
And I get it, like what Vernon was going back to, like what's the chances of her getting up and after surgery in a night? Like, it's not going to probably happen, but
I'm already in my willing suspense of disbelief where I can watch Michael Myers get shot, stabbed, and moved around. I'm willing to watch her shoot herself with morphine and go through the rest. When she shot herself with morphine, Wyatt just talked about it, I was like, okay, she's going through the rest of the movie on this morphine trip. I'm good with this. Like, I'm willing to believe that willing suspense of disbelief. Like, I'm fine with that.
The next part, it works for most people. Even though you don't know this character, you feel bad for this dude. Like, he's put in the wrong position. He's getting chased by this mob. Karen tries to help him out. She like locks him in like the room. They're like pushing on the door, smashing on the glass. He has nowhere to go. And then,
he's obviously mentally ill.
Like, mentally ill. So I mean, he decides to take his own life. He decides to end. He busts the window out and jumps out. And at that point, like you were saying earlier, Evan, like Tommy doesn't realize until they're busting through, where he's like, all right, this isn't him. Like, and by that time, it's too late to stop.
You can't calm a mob down in 10 seconds. Like, it just don't happen.
Oh, no, they're already riled up and everything. And I mean, at that point, they really show the aftermath. Like, they show the crowd outside they actually show the aftermath of him. He's just like,
literally,
heads exploded on the ground. His arm is bent and his leg. But then you see like the sheriff, like just sitting on the steps, bro, like going through it. Like, he's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, like what is he supposed to do? Like, you can't.
You also get to see security guard Brackett, the returning sheriff from the original Halloween, but he's a security guard at the hospital. And then he says the line after the dude jumps out the window is like, he's turning against us. We're turning against ourselves and all this. And then, they have to make a plan at that point. Karen's fed up. She's pissed off. She's like, we need to do something. She consults with Tommy and everything.
One of my favorite scenes in the hospital is when the leader of the mob, and I forget his name, goes into Laurie's room and he's talking about,
Tommy.
He's like,
Tommy.
Yeah.
I love that too, to be honest.
He's like, you saved me, I'm going to save you. I teared up a little bit. I was like, yeah, get him,
Actually kind of goes with another sentimental scene where it got kind of pulled on the heartstrings is whenever Allison and Cameron are in the car with his dad, Lonnie, and he tells the same story that you hear about in the last one where her dad says like, oh, I did peyote with Cameron's dad at one point. And then like she's sitting in the back seat and he's telling her the story of him and her dad doing peyote. And then you just kind of just see her start breaking down. Like she's remembering her dad. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, you're right. She pulls it back. But like, it's just that little moment, man, where she just starts crying while he's telling the story. It's hard to have emotional stuff in a slasher like this. And these little things, like what you're saying with Tommy, where he busts in and says that to Laurie, it's those little moments that work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go back to Big John and Little John at the Myers house.
Big John and Little John.
And they get an old knock at the back door.
Oh, I love this.
They go to investigate. They get a knock at the front door. And then...
All right, before we move on too far, this is one of my other biggest complaints is in the original Halloween, I love that you just see him in the background sometimes.
Yeah, they didn't have enough
This
of that.
was the perfect moment to have him just be in the background. When he knocks on the back door and Little John's walking away from the back door, they should have had him standing right there, like ready to come in, And I just felt like a lot of these scares were very predictable, where the first one works so well because like you just see him. He's just there, like it's not like
we don't get too much of the creeping.
Exactly.
In 2018,
like
there's a couple scenes where you see him just in the background.
Exactly.
And I mean, I think another reason they did that is because he's pissed off at this point. He's beyond all that bullshit.
I get it. That was
agree.
The first scene though I noticed that I was like, oh, they should have really did that.
The only time it was really like in the background creepily was whenever they were showing him holding that kid's head. That was really the only time where he was like, where they kind of like look around and like, oh, he's back there.
So many scenes in the first one that work so well because he's just in the back, like when he drives by Loomis or he's behind the bed sheets is such a famous meme. Like those are scenes that work because he's just there, but he isn't like oh my God, he's right there. He
doesn't belong.
Or even like music POV shots. You didn't have any Michael POV shots in this movie at all either.
Yeah.
They go to check the back door because did you lock it? And then they see like the bloody handprint. He's like, that's not a child that's at our house.
Favorite line in the whole movie is like, I have this knife.
I have this knife.
I
have a little charcuterie knife. And then he grabs and it's a play on, because like the little dude's Big John and the tall dude's Little John. And then Little John gets the big knife and Big John gets the little knife.
Makes no sense, but it's so funny. Like it's
I love right after this scene, they're walking around going, Big John.
Because they're just trying to like let each other know they're all right. Like, room's clear, Big John. Like Big John.
Like
I'm okay.
They are
Little
not
John,
equipped for this at all.
Oh, no.
They should have just left.
They should have peaced.
But kudos for trying, I guess.
And then you get another one of the best kills in the movie, man. He stabs the dude up through the armpit, and then he just squeezes his eyes out.
I actually looked away at that one.
Oh, bro, it's gnarly. And then I
looked away at a kill too, but it hasn't come up yet. But I did look away at one.
And then big Little John goes up to check it out, and they see old Michael standing in front of his sister's window again, looking out.
Yeah.
And then you get
why does he say that? He's like, oh, Michael, you've returned. Like, get the fuck out of there.
Michael's come home. Like, why wouldn't you run? Because Michael just turns around and starts walking towards him.
He just accepted.
And you hear his like scream in the faint. Like, get the fuck out of there, dude.
This is where Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison pull on up to the Myers house at this point.
And I have a complaint about this entire
leading into another bad decision.
I get that Allison is like hyped up on like, my dad's dead, I gotta kill this guy. Yeah. But like, what are they gonna do in this situation? Like, it is 3 of them versus Michael. Like,
yeah. And the dad didn't last long at all. It was like 5 seconds after he walked in, you hear that gunshot.
What do you mean? What are they going to do? What they decided to do is to go in one at a time, basically, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And then you hear the gunshot. Like, the smart thing to do would be drive away and get more people. Like, we know where he's
immediately.
No.
Let's go.
This was just to add two more bodies and to set up for the end.
Only one more body.
Alex said, this could have been another part where you could have had him chilling in the background when they're walking through the house in the dark. Like,
sure.
You could have had him just chilling, like watching.
Yeah. They spent a good bit of time creeping around the house.
And they kicked open the door and shot the pumpkin. Because he's just toying with him. He just put a pumpkin with a lit candle in the closet just to lure him with the door crack. Michael, he playing mind games with people. When you see what happens, it makes me kind of think like this was planned. Like they were going there and they were setting up, waiting for Karen to get there.
Allison's move, because I did write her move. We're getting there, but I wrote her move down, but then I erased it because it might have been like she knew.
Maybe either she knew or it was a surprise. But they walk upstairs and you get another work of art by Michael. He saw the picture of Big John and Little John, in the meadow, sitting, and then he poses their bodies in the exact same way.
No, he reversed them though.
He reversed them, but it's still like the same pose. I don't know why. Laying on his lap.
I don't know why I noticed that. I was like, no, that's.
They put a glass of wine in his hand too, right?
I didn't notice that. I think
the one of them was holding a glass of wine. Yeah,
Michael,
I think he did.
Setting up a show for the people that find the bodies. He put the music on and everything as well.
Michael might be pissed off, but he's not gonna abandon the culture of art. All right, like,
exactly. Cameron's like, all right, while she's looking at this, I'm gonna go investigate by myself.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you go be like, hey, I'm gonna go check this room real quick?
Yeah, let her know.
Like, no.
And I think they could have did this a little differently, but as he's like walking, he gets the blood, and he looks up, and the attic is there with his dad in it. And then it just cuts to Michael jumping out. I think they should have just kept him walking a little bit, and then like you could have actually did one shot of Michael busting out. They didn't have to just cut to it right away.
Build a little bit of suspense.
I think he should have, instead of opening the cupboards, he should have just busted through them bitches and yanked them. Yeah, I'm with Wyatt there, but it was an effective scene.
When he grabs them, he's just stabbing her. And then she comes out with the shotgun. He immediately just like, give me that shit. Michael stabs the shit out of him. She stabs the shit out of Michael, and then he just like, nah. Get out of here. Swats her like a fly down the stairs, breaks her leg.
I will say that falling down the stairs.
Classic horror move.
Now I'm gonna fall and break my leg, leaving me helpless.
It wasn't like the typical like fake, like they're kind of like rolling. Like she actually does like a flip at some point.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it looked really good. Her falling down the steps.
Does a straight spite move at this point where she's like, "Come get me, motherfucker! Leave him alone." And then he's just no, I'm gonna fuck with him a little bit more. And
that might have been the best head turn in the movie because he just kind of like looks at him,
and then he's just like through there and just starts pushing his head like across the different bars and shit. Oh, gnarly! I can't imagine like what that would feel like on your throat, dude.
This is the scene I was talking about where I thought some comedic moment would come in, because he does start coming down the stairs and he's even more spiteful and vengeful.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Where like, when he picks him back up and does it again.
You still want to talk shit.
But I 100% thought that dude was going to punch his head clean off. Just like that. I
thought he was going to rip it off, to be honest. But
I thought that head was coming off. I thought it was too. Perfect like scissor axe move where he was just going to pop that head.
You're not
the
only one that can do this, Jason.
Yeah, and then like, you knew this wasn't going to go well for Alice. She's got a broken leg, and he just walks up and pretty much manhandles her. He's going to stab her. And like what you said, like, I don't know if this was set up prior, if Allison knew her mom was going to be there. Comes in with the pitchfork.
And stabs
And I know
him.
this is a trap, but she could have at least tried to finish him there, man. Put the pitchfork through his neck. Stomp on his head. Yeah,
I got more about this. Keep going, because I got a big complaint.
It even goes into the mob scene. I think you were going to it. Why aren't they beating his brains into a
Keep going. No, let's get to that.
Before we get there, I actually like this point. Like, whenever she stabs him, she kicks his like in the head, and then she pulls his mask off and does the whole like, I'm innocent like your sister type thing. And then it plays like the classic theme, bro, like the classic Halloween thing, and it's quiet. All you hear is the piano, and it's just him like just chasing her. And they always like either show it from a super far away view or it's dark and you can't see his face.
Just obscure his face just enough. Like you can see like a little bit, but it's not like.
But I love it, man. And they're walking behind the houses in the dark and shit. It's awesome. And then
you know it's a trap at this point.
You just see, you see the mask laying in the middle of the road. And I felt bad for my boy. I know he killed all these other people.
No.
He's massacred all these people. I felt bad for
you
my
and
boy.
Marissa. You both. She said that's
boy.
not fair, and I said fuck you.
I knew he was gonna get out of it. Even though like you said he was set up and it looked bad. It was just he's gonna fucking kill all these people.
This is the biggest complaint of mine throughout the whole movie. Two things.
I know. Yeah.
One is whenever they trap Michael, Sheriff Brackett. They didn't have to have him say this, but he's like, "Happy Halloween, everyone's entitled to one good scare," which is the line that he says in the original Halloween.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
It didn't need to be said there. That was cheesy as shit.
I mean, it could have been Busta Rhymes cheesy.
Yeah,
but it's better not.
It wasn't the mob beating up Michael itself. The thing I didn't like about it the most is whenever he turned it around and killed the mob. They didn't film it the same way. They did it real artsy, where it was like in a sound studio with nothing but blackness. I wish they would have kept it street view with him just fucking slaughtering everybody.
They
didn't
like,
have to
the
do
whole
it
thing
artsy,
with like Lori
zooming in on certain things and like I don't know. I didn't like the way that they did that.
And I'm with you. It's my compilation. I might meet with Evan.
Yeah.
Why these people are not fucking finishing this dude off?
Okay.
Like.
The
beat this man into a pulp.
Decision. Right. So Karen, they allow Karen to have like the satisfying ending.
Her stab.
She comes up, she stabs him in the back.
Yeah.
You're not right between the shoulder blades.
In the freaking brain.
The meatiest part of the body, basically.
No,
you know.
Okay. I'm sorry, and I get that like we have to have justice in this country, but like this dude has killed 25 people in this movie. Well, maybe not at this point. No one's cutting his head off and putting it on a spike.
Yeah.
Like. You don't know. We don't know if we've talked about this. I don't know if you cut Michael Myers' head off and if it's going to work.
Even Annette said whenever he was sitting there reaching for his knife, cut his hands off. He can't do anything without any hands.
Like, bro,
what are you going to do?
Cut his hands off. When he was on the ground stabbed, I'd have beat this lifeless body.
You would think a mom that's saying evil dies tonight would wouldn't stop until he's dead. They would just sit there and beat the shit out of him.
We're mob mentality at this point, and this mob mentality made this innocent man jump off a roof. They were so eager to get. What were they going to do when they got to him in the hospital? Like, beat him down and then be like, oh, okay, he learned his lesson at this point. Like, fuck that. Like, beat this man into a pulp, dude.
But I loved the way they set it up where Michael's standing there and then like they just start, as soon as they start playing the music, he just bends down and then just like puts on his mask and then it just and then it cuts the music and then it just like they start fucking with him.
Fucking him up.
And he holds his own for a minute, but then they start beating his ass down and then Sheriff Brackett, for some reason, gets straight up close to his head to shoot him in the head. He could have stood back and shot him.
All those people, and they action movied him. They action movied him. They all came at one at a time too. Like, I'm gonna cut you.
To be fair, like in my opinion, this would be a good way to end Michael permanently. Like if this is how, like if the third movie, if the third movie is going to finish Michael off. I mean, I don't know if that's their goal, but like if it is, this would have been great. And then like, you know, maybe have Lori have the final kill or something, you know, like something like that. But like the fact that, he's surrounded by 30 people. And like Alex said, none of them's trying to smash his head in. None of them's trying to like, to me, like that to me is like, no one is actually sure
with one of those trucks.
Like you guys are checking his pulse and making sure he is dead.
Even before that, when the mom or Lori's daughter like curb stomps him into the stairs, like why the fuck did you do one curb stomp? I'd be smashing this dude's face, dude, like bah, bah, like no mercy, dude.
At this point, like it's not like it was in the first movie where he just got a few kills, you know, like no, like at this point he has far past redemption. Like no.
Start thinking it is done, and it shows like Karen back at like the Myers house with her daughter and like the medics and shit, and then it cuts back to the mob and
getting slaughtered.
Sheriff Brackett tries to shoot him, pulls the knife right out, slices his throat, goes downhill from there. He's just slaughtering everybody at this point.
While it's more believable, or while it's more entertaining that's how it went down, he got up in the middle of it and then started killing him. Yeah. I think it would have made more sense if he did the whole like play dead and then get out of there when no one's paying attention or something.
That's what I was expecting. Like, you know, like they think they kill him, they put him on like wherever they're taking him,
a gurney
and then
or whatever.
He busts out of there and a movie or whatever. But yeah, he murders everybody, and I didn't like the way they did it, like the artsy way that they did it. The only part I did like was whenever like the Tommy part, wherever like he hits him, like he stabs him, and then it shows Tommy on the ground, and then it like I don't know what they did like a camera spin from like him laying there into a close shot of his face, and I just for some reason that worked. I really like that shot, and then it just cuts to Michael using the bat, just busting his head in.
He just freaking Negan.
Which they should have showed it, man. They showed everything else in the movie. Out of everything, they should have showed him blowing up Tommy's head.
We deserve to see Tommy.
Exactly, big character of the movie.
Yeah.
That moment when Michael gets up and kills the mob to the end of the movie feels completely different from the rest of the movie. It feels like it feels like a dream, like a fever dream or something. Because after that, immediately after that happens, Karen gets up and looks at the window and sees like a vision of young Michael standing there in his clown suit.
Yeah.
And she knows about it because Hawkins talked about it. He told the story way back then. And I mean, we got flashbacks, which we didn't say about where, you know, Loomis goes to shoot Mike, like they beat the shit out of Michael way back then, and he goes to shoot him, and Hawkins stops him. He hits his arm away, and then you get like a scene where the cops try to hide it, where like we're gonna say that like he accidentally
just like
pulled the trigger. Exactly. He's like, "Give me your gun.
Yeah.
Like we'll protect you. Don't worry about
Dirty
it." He's
business.
like, good intentions don't always seem like come out the best way. But she sees a vision of Michael. She goes up to check out the room. Stands in front of the window, and it's weird because it seems like she sees something out the window, and immediately Michael steps out from behind her. It just like and it was very reminiscent of him killing his sister at the very beginning of the original Halloween, like the way that they cut it. So and it's in the same room and everything, so it was pretty cool how
that would have been a very good time for a point of view shot, like you were saying.
Yeah. Oh,
a good callback.
If they would have showed it, like the point of view walking up into the room,
just like in the first one.
She's alive though, dude. She gets stabbed in the arms more than any other victim. She like pulls them up
she's
more than
any
other
ground,
victim.
But
I don't know. I think she's alive in next.
And then it cuts to Laurie, you know, looking out the window, and then it shows the badass shot of Michael just standing there covered in blood on the mask, which was awesome to see. And then you know it just cuts to black. That's Halloween Kills, and this is the time where there was an ending that was cut from this movie, and there was the leaked script and everything that happened.
Oh, you're gonna let me know. This is news to me.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like pissed off that this wasn't in the movie, and David Gordon Green said that it will be on the extended cut, but they changed it because they realized the way that they want to go with the next one, and it wouldn't really fit narratively how they want to do it. But it would literally only add like 20 seconds to the end. This ending, literally after he kills Karen, Laurie calls Karen and like just to see what's going on, and Michael picks up the phone, and like the original where he's holding the phone, he picks up the phone and all Laurie hears is the breathing from the mask.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm coming for you, and all that, and then it cuts to black. And then like that would have been fucking awesome. Like
that would have set it up.
But apparently Halloween Ends is gonna cut to today, like 2022. Somehow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's going to be a time jump.
I don't know what's going to happen between where Michael goes or what he does in like a couple years. So I don't know what they're going to do, man. It's interesting, and I don't know how they're going to explain the window. Is there a haunted thing? Is there like a supernatural
I really
thing?
hope they expand on the window, because if they don't, then it just kind of becomes like another pointless, like scary movie kind of.
I don't know how you're going to explain it without sounding dumb. Like, did young Michael look out the window and see like his future of him? Like, see him as a killer or something? I don't know. But overall, man, I loved it. I like even the ending, except for the way that like he kills the mob. I think it just should have been shot completely different, just like on the street, like how they shot them beating him down. I think that would have worked out a lot better. Who knows? Maybe it was all a dream. Maybe that's why they did it that way.
I don't know. I agree with Wyatt. I did like it a lot, but it is very DC syndrome to me. It just felt like a very pointless story. I hate to be critical of it because I love the Michael Myers series, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but to me, the 2018 left me on a much higher. I was like, cool, like, this is great.
Yeah.
For this one, I felt a little let down.
I think 2018 was a better overall movie because I think the script was tighter. I think everything about it seemed tight, like the whole way through, except for the Dr. Sartain twist in it. Like,
sure, that was,
and that was everybody's only really criticism of the movie.
Yeah,
I didn't really have any moments like that where I was like, oh, that was super weird, like out of place.
Yeah, I think it's hard to give it, knowing that it's a trilogy. It's hard to give it like a full grade just to see like. We got to see how it all fits together, because it could either go really great or really not great. So this is a bridge, and hopefully it was a good bridge. But I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, very fun movie.
I think that was the best part about it. It was a great fun time. Story, was a little lacking, obviously, but I don't know. The only thing I would have changed, it, like I said, was the whole like ending, like how he escaped the mob. I don't think him murdering them and like it was fun to watch. Don't get me wrong,
walking
but like
right back into the house and surrounded by police.
To me that just doesn't seem. It didn't. Again, I know it's a freaking horror movie. You got to suspend your belief a little bit, but like, it seems unbelievable that all these people didn't try to finish it for good. But we'll see what happens.
It is what it is.
We will see what happens. Vern?
Yeah.
Liked it overall pretty much. Like my favorite part was definitely like a tie, and it was like the little door kick with the gun. Like I thought that was, like you said, like even Michael Myers probably just like, damn, I was just trying to fucking kick her away. You know what I mean? Like I thought that shit was cool. I wasn't expecting it, more or less. That shit came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the prank scene, like we were saying, like that was probably my favorite scene because I was like invested in it. I was like, oh my god, like this kid swallowed a razor. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know if Michael was gonna come out kill him. I didn't know what was going on. So that was a very like entertaining scene as well. Mm-hmm. And my least favorite, hands down, is like pretty much the whole like last 5 minutes of that mob mentality hospital scene up until like he kills himself. Like I was very
you weren't down with that.
I didn't like that part at all. I thought that was fucked. And I know it's a horror movie, but I was just like, I did not like that part at all.
Somebody's trying to stop you and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening. All right, why? What would you give it? Review 1 out of 10.
All right. This one I would probably give like an 8. I'll give it an 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not without its faults. There are some things like you were saying, but man, I think an 8. It was a solid 8. I really liked it.
I would be close. I feel like there was a lot of good ideas in this, but it could have been contained more. Like it could have been shrunk down more.
Yeah, they could have tightened up the script a little bit. Like
they could have tightened it up a little bit. Yeah, so I would give it I think the kills are the best part of this film. I think some of the kills are great. I wasn't here during the firefighter scene, but I think some of them kills are awesome. Like just the brutality of them. But I'd give it like a 7.2. I thought it's a good movie. I'd go see it again,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to remember what I gave The Conjuring, because I'm trying to like think about how like, because I know that was the last review I was on with you.
Yeah, good luck, man.
I think I actually enjoyed this movie a little bit more than The Conjuring, but that's just because I really like the Halloween franchise. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a high 7.
Okay.
Maybe not quite an 8, a little bit higher than Alex. So let's go like 7, 8. Something like that. 7.8. I think it was more fun to watch than The Conjuring. The Conjuring story, which was my favorite part about it, was it actually like wrapped itself up a little bit. But this movie is a trilogy, or the middle of a trilogy, so I'm gonna give it an open 7.8. It could go up or down.
It could.
Depending on what happens.
I pretty much agree with you too. I mean, we're all really close here. I would say personally, I would probably give it like a 7.5. I was thinking like 7.7, 7.5, somewhere around there. Since you said 8, I'll go to 7.5. But just because it was entertaining the whole way through. There was parts where I was like, there was. I was invested in this movie the whole way through. There's parts you obviously noticed like, oh, what are they doing there, or like cheesy lines, things like that. Every movie's got it.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a great horror movie, great Halloween movie. 7.5.
Awesome.
It's gonna be good to the series. Like when this is all finished up and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's gonna be 4 technically, because the first one counts. It's gonna be good. It's gonna go well. Hopefully. Hopefully they finish up well.
That's what I meant by the opening. This could be either like the setup to the grand finale or the beginning of the end.
I think the middle of any franchise is the hardest part, and there's very few franchises that pull the middle off well. So I think it's fine. It's not abysmal. It's a good movie. I would recommend it. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm excited to watch it again.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, this will be fun to watch like right before the next one comes out. Watch the first two, and then we can see exactly how it all plays out. That's the hope.
And we're definitely gonna come back here next year and do a review at this time for Halloween Ends when that comes out. So we're definitely gonna be doing a review at that point. Make sure to check out all of our reviews this month. We got another horror review next week as well. We can't talk about that as of right now because Vern's picking it. Vern's the one picking next week's movie, and I have no idea where he's gonna go with it. It's gonna be interesting.
Just wait.
So till next week, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out all of our other content on the channel. We got tons of content for you to watch, and we'll see everybody next time.